Files. We'll have the latest on the new investigation that could stall the release of those documents. We'll also bring you expert analysis on two major legal cases, starting with the stunning development in the indictment of James Comey. Meanwhile, a federal judge says he plans to restart criminal contempt proceedings against Trump administration officials.
Says he wants it to move fast. There's been a long enough delay.
And we'll dig into more polls showing the president's approval rating slipping on key issues.
But I'll tell you what, you look, I saw something yesterday, Willie, generic ballot test. And we've been talking about how badly things have been going for Republicans over the past 2, 3, 4 weeks. I will say, in all my years in politics, and of course, that goes back, what, 75 years after we came back from the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a couple of kids starting our own polling outfit. Now, trying to get on with Gallup. No, in all the years I've been in politics, I think Gallup was around in 1947. I've never seen this big of a spread. I've never seen one party with this high of a number, and I think you would probably have to go back to maybe post-Watergate days. This is staggering.
14-point spread. That's the generic ballot. The question is, if the midterms were held today, they'll be a year from now, who would you vote for? 55% of Americans say Democrats, 41% say Republican. A massive split. Obviously, the alarm bells went off 2 weeks ago because of those elections, Virginia, New Jersey, and places across the country. And now you're seeing what Americans are saying is, we're not happy with the way things are going in this country right now. We want to change. And we'll get into some of the other polling, including from Fox News, which shows the president deeply underwater on the economy, for example, even on immigration, which was his key issue.
Right.
Americans don't like what they're seeing right now.
Not at all. And, John, you know, you had a great piece in The Atlantic last night saying Trump 2.0 is suddenly looking like Trump 1.0. Michael Schmidt and I had been saying for some time, I'd been saying, you know, when he said, man, they really seem to be clicking and hitting their stride on everything. And there's so, I said, wait till the 101st day. Because, again, I go back to the contract with America. Newt knew exactly what he was going to do 100 days. And we just rolled over Democrats. They just sat there, were helpless. At one point, I remember walking over to, I think it was Patrick Kennedy. I go, are you guys going to at least put up a fight? And he started laughing. He's like, I asked Dick Gephardt the same thing. And basically, we're like, you know what? You guys go. But it ended up being like Napoleon's march to Moscow. We got to Moscow, they burned the city, and then we were in a cold, bloody retreat for the next 3 months. Well, they've got 100 days in, and now they don't have any plans. Donald Trump's knocking down the White House. He's making these wacky deals with Argentinian beef people. He's got the Saudi prince coming in. There's just, again, the feeling is a huge disconnect. What's the difference between now and back during his first term? Well, the economy was chugging along pretty well during the first term. Today, and we look at all these numbers, the president can say it's a hoax. People can't, young people defined by people under 40, can't buy homes. Grocery prices are still going up. Maybe they're only going up 2 or 3%, but that's on top of everything that happened before. And I think the reason why Democrats want to shut down, health care bills are going to be the hidden, and we talked about this yesterday, it's going to be the hidden issue that when people are paying more and more for their policies, doctors are telling them they need procedures, and then health care companies that make billions and billions of dollars are saying, no, you can't get what your doctor says you need to have. And then after you get home, you have hidden costs that hit you weeks later. This is all adding up.
Along with your car payments and rent.
To have a president say, yeah, healthcare, worst item, $34.64. So tariffs very low, foreign policy's okay, immigration's okay. But anyway, on the economy, the Fox News poll has him down in the 30s.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be his signature issue. President Trump and his team had 4 years out of power. And with the help of Project 2025 and other matters, they came back with a game plan and experience to how to use the levers of government, the levers of power. And they did. They were a steamroller on nearly every issue for months. But that has really change. We saw the voters deliver their verdict at the election a couple of weeks ago. We tick through the polls, getting worse for the president by the day. There's a real sense that he is distracted. He's lost focus. He is thinking about things like the East Wing rather than driving down prices. Even there's a hallmark of Trump 1.0, the first term, a lot of chaos and infighting. That started up again. We've had a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. versus Susie Wiles feud in recent days.
By the way, he's gotten his vaccine bullshit up on the CDC site now.
Yeah, so at least in that case, the Maha agenda has won, the anti-vax stuff. And we've also seen for a president who really prides himself in never retreating, we've seen two significant walkbacks in the last week because of a political vulnerability. Tariffs, he rolled back a few because it was an acknowledgement. Food prices, coffee, bananas, a handful of other things, it's just too high. So it's a signature, it's his plan, they rolled it back. And now we have the Supreme Court expressing skepticism whether he can do it at all. And now the Epstein matter, something he fought furiously. He could try to spin it in the last couple of days, but I've talked to people in and outside of the building. He had to go along with it because he was going to get rolled. This is a new vulnerability for the president. And we've seen Democrats for the first time this year be emboldened. And we've seen Republicans start to be willing to challenge him, which in his mind hastens that lame duck status.
And we heard that voice through Joe Rogan yesterday where he said, I speak for a lot of people who supported you, Donald Trump. This is not a hoax. This is a serious issue we care about. You can't wish it away. And just quickly back to the economy, in that Fox News poll, 60% of people said this is Donald Trump's economy. You can't keep saying, I inherited a mess from Joe Biden. I inherited a mess. 62% say it's Donald Trump's. And on the question of affordability, which Donald Trump also has called a hoax and a con job, 85% of people in this Fox News poll say my grocery prices have gone up.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me you're driving prices down and that it's not a problem and it's a con job. I am paying more at the grocery store, say 85% of Americans.
Always blaming Biden or immigrants, it seems, and people are getting a little tired of it.
And Republicans are now, we're talking about Democrats saying, okay, well, you know what, maybe. You know, we think we're doing okay. We're going to be all right. Now you have Republicans going on the House floor criticizing the House Speaker. Why did you keep us out so long?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like they see one of the most historic gaps between Republicans and Democrats. And they know they're in trouble. They all know they're in trouble. So, and speaking of trouble, I mean, you look at what's happened down in Texas. I mean, again, DOJ mistakes. You could do a top 5 boneheaded moves by the DOJ exposed this week so far. And I mean, they all have massive consequences. I know we're going to talk about one in a second, but in the redistricting wars, Texas was the reason California moved forward. Texas got 5, California got 5. Now, because DOJ lawyers misread the law, a judge is saying, I think it was a Trump judge, is saying, we're going to throw this out. And they said the drafting of it, it was like 100 monkeys with 100 crayons.